Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Sharice Jervis Hill here with our new podcast, Coffee with Cher. I am so excited to share Miss Alina with you guys. So we have Alina Rendina from Fuse Fitness. Welcome, Alina. Let's do a little cheers, cheers, cheers. Let me see your Fuse Fitness. All right, awesome. I got my little Coffee with Cher mug. You got your little Fuse Fitness water bottle. That's your mug, your water bottle, right?
Great. Yeah, I've got a straw for instant coffee access.
All right, I love it. I love it. All right, so let's get started. So tell me about your company. Tell us about how you got started, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
Too. Thanks for speaking with me. I love talking about, just like the story and the foundation of Fuse. I throw that word around a lot, foundation, which we'll get into in a minute. But I started about 5 years ago with a larger facility in Jefferson Valley. Me and my partner at the time saw a need for and a desire for spin studio. So that's actually how we started. We started as a spin studio in Jefferson Valley under the name of Cycle 6. And it kind of just flourished into this just overall fitness studio, boutique fitness studio. It was one of those things where when you start taking action, the other doors started to open. So we initially planned for a spin studio. We found a space that was massive. So we figured we'd bring other classes in, and then it started to really evolve from there. With the pandemic, like most businesses, we really shifted, and I actually took that as an opportunity to step back from that space and focus a little bit more on what I really loved about what I was doing there, which was more of an intimate setting, an intimate program, and just more of intimacy is like the best word I can use to describe it, more personalized and intimate. So that's how we started, a little bit different than what we're doing right now, which I think is pretty common for most business owners. And yeah, since the Cycle Studio, which was again Cycle 6, we rebranded the name, the business structure. It went from also a partnership to now I'm a solo entrepreneur. So yeah, there's been a lot of shifts over the last 5 years.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff. So let's kind of talk about, you talked about kind of like that boutique, that kind of, personalized. And I just, in knowing you and knowing the service that you provide, I know for sure what sets you apart from your competition, but I want you to kind of talk about that a little bit. Tell us about what really sets you apart from your competition.
Sure. So, there's so much in the fitness industry and the health industry and the diet industry. And I think one of the biggest things that sets us apart is really honing into the individuality of each person and understanding that every person's at a different point in their fitness journey, and that every person's going to respond differently to a workout program. And also their body is going to respond differently too. So I really like to hone in on that. I like to provide a more personalized, individualized service with our small group personal training. And that gives us a chance to really understand the person, what their goals are, and then also what their actual abilities are. So either their limitations or their strengths, and combining that all into one program. And then, I really also like to focus on providing people with the right tools, whether it's accountability that they need to get here, or whether it's a meal plan that's like, hey, this is what you could be eating on a day-to-day basis to reach your goals. So when people sign up, we set them up with a meal plan. We'll set them up with, the programming. You just come in and you go. And it's just really nice to know that no matter where you're at on any given day, you're going to meet a workout that is you're going to take a workout that's going to meet you where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I have to say you are fantastic. You are just like so great at what you do. And I think back to COVID when when we were kind of like right after that lockdown phase when things were opening up, and everyone kind of feeling isolated. And I, like, you were definitely just a breath of fresh air to be able to come with the tiny small group classes, and we always safe with the mask and everything at that time. But you're just amazing at what you do. And I had my weights going, so you're awesome. All right, so let's talk about what is new for you. I know that I haven't seen you in a while, and I kind of stay up to date on what's happening with you via social media. So I know that there's a lot happening. So tell us about some of the new things that are happening at Fuse.
Well, so many new things. I feel like, again, like when you start to take action, the doors start to just kind of open up. So since pivoting, we were training when you were working with us, we were training out of Iron Health, physical therapy, and peak skill. So since then we've upgraded to our own space. So we're doing our small group sessions and our large group classes out of here. So we have added some HIIT classes to our schedule as a good supplement to the strength training for those people that want that extra part of their workout routine. We still mainly focus on small group. Starting in April, actually, we're doing a 8-week long peach program, because I can't tell you how many people come in here and they're like, I just want to grow my glutes and my thighs. So I was like, all right, let's get something together, because so many women come in here and that's exactly what I hear. So I decided to put something together. It's just going to be a fun 8-week strength building program. And then I also have an online course coming out, because I do a lot of nutrition work with people, and just like the basics, I used the word foundation earlier. It's a foundational course that teaches people really how to understand what their energy inputs and energy outputs are. So it's more than just calories and, what foods you're eating. It's really understanding at any given part in your journey what you could aim to eat. And we're going to go over how to calculate your own macros and calories, but even as basic as like your biofeedback and understanding what your body's needs are. So I'm really excited about that, because I've done that webinar. I've done that nutrition foundation content in a webinar. I've done it in person, and it's always so valuable for the people that attend. So I'm excited to make that a course. And yeah, we're just adding sessions as we get more and more busy and booked, and blessed for that. But, and then we do have a project slated, we'll see what happens. I'm just going to leave it at that little cliffhanger.
Okay.
So we do have hopefully a growth project coming up. We'll see what happens, but if all goes well, then we will be expanding our space, and it's not just us, it's going to be a whole wellness center if all goes well, but we'll see what happens on that. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out. I'll keep an eye out on you.
Thanks.
All right. So I like to end on, how we can help another entrepreneur, another business owner. Because we know, as having, owning businesses, there's good days, there's bad days. There's days where you're on top of the world. There's days where you don't want to get out of bed. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. So, what advice would you give to a new business owner, or someone who, or maybe it's an existing business owner that's been in business for a while, but that's hit a hard, kind of a hard, just having a rough time, or maybe someone who is toying with the idea of starting a new business? Like, what bit of advice would you want to share with our listeners?
So funny. I feel like someone else asked me this question in the last 2 weeks, and I probably gave a completely different answer, because there's so many things that you can focus on.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with what's been helping me lately. And like you said, one day you're like, you wake up and you're like, I got this. Like, today is the day. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, what was I thinking when I started this thing? One of the recent things I've been doing, and this is not just for business, but I think just overall in general, like I try to bring it up with the members here too, is this concept of the gap and the gain. There's a book by Dan Sullivan and maybe Ben Hardy, I think. I don't know the second author who co-authored it with him, but it's just this concept of really focusing on like how far you've come already. And so if someone's just starting or deciding, like, thinking about what even brought you to that point, because there's going to be those moments when you feel very, very triggered or very like just uncertain. And so like just focusing on the things that have gotten you to that point, or focusing on your gains in each day, the daily wins, no matter how big or small they are. I think we're so focused on these goals. And I know like we've had so many conversations about stuff like this, but we're so focused on the bigger picture that we forget what we're doing each day to get to that bigger picture and to reach that goal. And just thinking about those things, focusing on those things versus focusing on how much more we have to go is huge. And another tip of advice I would give is, just like, it sounds really cliche, but kind of just do it, and everything will fall into place as long as you have in your mind what it is that you want to accomplish. And as long as you're intentional with it, if you're being intentional with what you want to do, taking action is how you learn. So if you're afraid to make mistakes, it's going to happen no matter what. You might as well take action towards those goals and let them happen and learn from them versus not taking action at all. So I would say those are two big things that I've been focusing on a lot recently.
Perfect. Love them. Everything you just said right there. That was it.
That was
So,
it.
wrong way, that way. Okay. All right. So, Alina, where can everyone find you? Give us your website, give us your phone number, let us know so that our listeners know how to get in touch with you.
Sure. So you can send us an email at info@fusedfit.com. And then our phone number you can call or text is 914-246-0457. You can literally set up a trial with us. We're also, now that we're launching an online course, we're doing phone calls and conversations with people just so that they can, learn a little bit more about what they can be doing in their day-to-day life to start making changes.
Awesome. Well, much gratitude. Thank you for being here today and looking forward to seeing you soon, my friend.
Thanks, Cherise. Thanks for having me.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.